I am currently in Skagway, Alaska at Alaskan Husky Tales, which is located on 5th and Broadway in Skagway. And I'm currently joined by Ryan Redington, who won the Iditarod in 2023, as well as this adorable puppy. So Ryan, who am I holding?
You're holding Barry today, and she is 5 weeks old.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Iditarod?
Yeah, the Iditarod is a 1,000-mile race from Anchorage to Nome, and it can be a tough race. And I raced in it 19 times, and we won it in 2023.
Now, this is a dog sled race that was actually created by your grandfather, correct?
Yeah, it was his dream to save the Alaskan Husky. He was an airplane pilot that he used to fly into a lot of the villages to race in their sled dog races. And what he saw when he fly into those villages, every household had a team of at least 6 sled dogs or more, and he loved seeing that. But when the snowmobiles arrived in Alaska, he wanted to start a race to help keep everybody excited and to stick with the Alaskan Husky, and that's how he came up with the idea to start the 1,000-mile Iditarod race.
Now, I know the conditions can get a little crazy during the Iditarod, and I know you've had a few interesting experiences. One where you fell off your sled. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, the year after we won the Iditarod, I was mushing along day 5 in the Iditarod race, and I was mushing along just like this here, and I fell asleep, and I fell off of my sled face first into the snow. It was 25 below zero out, and I woke up as fast as I could and took off running as quickly as I could to catch up to my sled and team, and I was unsuccessful. I got about 15 feet away from my sled, as close to my sled as I got, and I had to think of something fast, and I politely yelled out and asked my dogs to slow down or stop for me, and at that moment every one of my dogs looked back at me, but then they just picked up the speed. And I had to run for about 5 more minutes until my next competitor, Paige Drobny, came mushing along, and it's not a written rule that she had to pick me up, but great sportsmanship, and she offered for me to catch a ride on her sled with her, and we mushed together for about 25 minutes until we came upon my sled and team, where my sled had tipped over and it stopped my team. I was lucky that they didn't get too far, because years ago it happened to my grandpa in the Iditarod race, and he had to walk 30 miles on his own to catch up to his team.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I mean, when you say walk 30 miles, that's not just, oh, let's just go for a nice 30-mile hike. You're walking through, like, what's the temperature? How much snow is there?
Yeah, it could be 30, 40 below zero. It can be a lot of snow, and it's a race across Alaska, so the terrain is different, and it can be hilly and across glaciers and rivers, and we even mush across the sea ice and at a few spots in the race.
Now, when you're getting ready for the Iditarod, you're training with the dogs, but then the dogs actually undergo a lot more care than the mushers, right? It's all about the dogs, I feel like, for this race.
Every dog is required to have a full EKG 2 weeks before the race, and make sure their heart and their blood work is good to go. Before the race also, they'll go through a pre-race veterinarian exam from nose to tail, and at every checkpoint in the race as well. The mushers are taking care of the dogs as best we can, because they're our family, they're our best friends, and we're always looking out the best we can for our dogs.
And how much food do the dogs eat, and how much sleep do you get during the race?
They've done a study in the race, and they found that each dog will consume about 10,000 calories a day in the race.
Wow.
Quite a bit for a dog that weighs 50 to 60 pounds. And if you're going to win the race, you're not going to get a lot of sleep. I averaged 42 minutes of sleep a day in the race the year we won. And
42 minutes, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're running on sleep deprivation for sure.
Yep.
And then let's talk quickly about the statue that you won. There's major significance for the trophy that you win if you win the Iditarod.
Yeah, it's a trophy of my grandpa. It weighs 101 pounds, and when I won it in 2023, I became the first member out of my family out of 6 members and 73 attempts to win the race and bring home that trophy of my grandpa. And it's been my lifelong dream, and my dream now is to win another one.
But there's somebody else from your family that's racing in this upcoming Iditarod, and I would like to actually chat with her for a few minutes and see, because there's going to be some spousal competition, right?
You're correct. Yeah, I'll be racing against my wife Sarah in the Iditarod this year. We'll be competing against each other, and I'm really excited about that. This year it'll be my 20th time running in the race, and it's Sarah's first year racing in the Iditarod, but she's been racing for the last 10 years, and I'm really excited for her.
Yeah, I'm rooting for her. So let's chat with Sarah now. I am joined by Sarah Redington. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Tell me a little bit about what you're most looking forward to in running your first Iditarod.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Alaskan wilderness and spending the time with the dogs.
Now, you've competed in other dog sled races, right? Can you tell us a little bit about some of your adventures?
Yeah, I've done a lot of the 300-mile races that are the preliminary races that we use to train for Iditarod. And I've seen a lot of the northern Minnesota country and some of the back country in Alaska. But I know there's a lot that I miss out when I don't see the 1,000 miles between Anchorage and Nome with the mountains and the tundra and the Bering Sea coast that we travel along. I'm looking forward to seeing those places and the villages.
And what got you started in dog racing?
I've always been interested in the Alaskan wilderness and wildlife and northern climates, and I have a Siberian Husky as one of my princess pets, but she does not mush. She does not want to pull me on a sled, which is just fine. I like to pamper her anyways. I was interested in mushing before I met Ryan, but then once I started mushing with him, I learned what it was to be a professional musher and what it meant for a real race dog to be a competing animal and a real true athlete. How I got started was just helping Ryan prepare for his Iditarod races.
And then what do you have to do to prepare? I see all of the dog shoes behind us. Like, what kind of things do you need to pack and what kind of clothing do you need?
Yeah, you have to bring more than you think you'll need for any excursion of a similar duration, because you have to be prepared for the elements of the cold and the wind. And not just that you have to be prepared to be out in the cold when it's 20, 30, or 40, or 50 below. You have to be prepared to be out there with 16 dogs and for 7 to 10 hours at a time.
Right.
So the gear is something that we test out in training and make sure we have what we're comfortable in for that length of time at those temperatures, and then carrying some of the food along as well, and any items that we might need for being prepared for storms that come in, and being able to self-rescue and start fires and cook wood and cook food and that kind of thing.
Right. It sounds like there's a lot to consider. So what do you think your chances are of beating Ryan this year and all of the other mushers?
My chances in my performance this year, I think, are pretty good. Ryan and I and our team, we train all the dogs together, but then when we go into the race, we have different strategies on how we run the dogs, and I've been pretty consistently finishing in the top 10 of the preliminary races that I've ever been in, and so I hope to compete at that level when I go in as a rookie.
That's amazing. Well, I am rooting for you. I hope that you win, and then you can have side-by-side trophies of Ryan's grandfather.
Yeah, that would be real fun. We're going to have to get some really strong side tables.
For sure. Well, if you would like to meet Ryan and Sarah and learn more about their story, you can come here to Skagway, Alaska, and visit them at their Alaskan Husky Tales shop. And also make sure that you follow along on the Iditarod. When is that race?
First Saturday in March.
And if people want to follow along, how can they do that?
Go to iditarod.com or find us on redingtonmushing.com for updates on our race.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.